Well, it's that time of the year again. It's Olympic Winter Games time. So to celebrate the Sochi 2014 Winter Games, I thought I'd review some Olympic Games. 2 of them to be exact. It's Nagano Winter Olympics 98 and Olympic Hockey 98 for the N64 today on Power Up. Why, hello there. Welcome to another edition of Power Up. Well, anyway, as I'm shooting this or seeing all you Power Up fans out here, at this time it is February of 2014, which means the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics are going on. I haven't paid too much attention to the goings on there. I know I'm not too much of an Olympic watcher. Maybe I'll watch a little bit. Who knows? But anyway, as you can see, that with the Olympics going on, with many countries trying to get going for the gold, I myself have wondered, do I have any games like that? Well, I looked, and sure enough, I found 2. The first one I found is, of course, the one made by Konami. But though it's not Sochi, of course, it's based back in the N64 days. Konami made a game, or a cartridge, based on the 1998 Nagano, Japan Winter Games, aptly called Nagano Winter Olympics 98. So I'll give my take on that. But that's not the only game I'm reviewing in this episode. I decided to do another 2 games, but instead of dividing the episode into 2 episodes, it's just going to be 1. Because I don't have too much to say about this other one, I will say. To speak truthfully, they were quite fun, but when I was playing these, I'll get the other one in just a second, especially for this one, the Nagano Winter Olympics 98, I was not too good at them. Which you'll see in the review, I don't do that well. But granted, if I had more time with it, and if I actually played it, I could probably do a little bit better. But for the sake of the review, I might do really, really bad. But anyway, moving on to the other game I did, I'm going to review, also in Olympic game, Nagano Olympic Hockey 98. Made by Midway. I believe Midway, yeah. But in this game, this is interesting because, as I will help you mention, this game it was fun, but basically what they did for this is they took the company that made this also made the Wayne Gretzky 3D hockey games for the N64, and basically they kind of reskinned it pretty much. Instead of NHL teams, they have countries instead. Again, I did have some fun with this, but anyway, enough of that. I'll mention one of you, so let's say I take a look at these Olympic-sized games, and let's go for the gold! In Nagano Winter Olympics 98, there are 10 Olympic events featured, including skating, like speed skating, to note, skiing, as in slalom and downhill, luge, that's kind of fun to say, luge, I like to luge, luge. Okay, anyway, bobsledding, and I don't think the Jamaican team is on. For those of you who have seen Cool Runnings, I don't think they're on here. It'd be cool if they would be, though. Anyway, slalom, curling, halfpipe, and snowboarding. So those make up for interesting events. Of course, for the majority of this part of the review, I've played a couple of the events, and I did not do too well. but they were alright. It was pretty fun. Although, sadly, I didn't do too good. Although, curling I spent the most time on, even though I got a couple of points, but but I kind of stopped it midway through because I was getting my butt kicked to me, and I needed to play more stuff to add to the review. And I think that skiing where you jump off that slope thing, I forget what it's called. You'll probably see me do this, where you do that the ski jumping. I think it's ski jumping or something like that. I jump off, but I never made it quite off the ski jump. I always like tumbled down the jump thing, so I never got a ski jump taken care of. But anyway, and also speed skating was not too bad. I know for speed skating, you have to do, for the N64 version that I'm reviewing here, you do LR as in the left trigger, right trigger, to simulate the skiing part, or the skating part, which is pretty interesting. And the other event that I played was let me see here, I think I did it, the downhill skiing. That took me a couple times to get that right. I think it was the slalom skiing, I believe. We have to go through the gates right. A couple of times I didn't know where the gates were. I had to look because I think the N64 colors in this game were a little bit muddy. A little muddy, not too much. But I was able to right myself and finish the race after a couple of times. And let me see here. I think, the curling I mentioned, because the curling was, I think I just mentioned, is that I got like 2 points, I think. But then I thought, And granted, for all these games, if I actually spend time with them, I bet I do alright. But as this game, I did not get with an instruction manual per se. I got this loose, so I don't really know, even though they have some instruction at the beginning, but they don't really elaborate on that instruction. So it was, it was a heck of a time trying to figure out how to do everything. And granted, I really cannot recommend this game. I don't mind it, but, I'm not going to recommend this because if you're not a fan of the Olympics, then, don't get it. But I got it, it was cheap. If you can find it really, really, really dirt cheap, and you got some friends, if you have friends to try and play this with, then by all means, I go for it. But this game, I'd have to say, I don't think this game got rated too well. And I think most of my, I think another reviewer I saw on YouTube that did this didn't really think too highly of this game either. So, but anyway, if I had a recommendation scale, as I usually, actually I do have a recommendation scale, I would say not recommended. And I mean, yes, seriously not. Unless you have friends that will play this with you, then I kinda recommend it. But for all intents and purposes, I do not recommend this game. Now on to the next game in this episode. Nagano Olympic Hockey 98. This game, at most, this game is, if you played Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey for the N64, either that one or its sequel, the 98 version, this game is basically Wayne Gretzky's hockey with the NHL license taken out and the Olympics license or whatever put in. And to add to that, more insult I should say, when they made this game, they weren't able to get the actual jersey designs, so they kind of phoned it in. I almost want to say phoned it in, but they basically just used flags. It's basically, that's it. And plus, I think too, when I was playing this, the opening, when they do the country songs, when they the versus screen and they do like each country song. I think you'll probably hear this as I'm playing this review. If you quit out of that screen into the main game, the last country song keeps playing. What? Yeah, you heard that right. So I guess they should have bug tested this a little bit more. Granted, it does eventually end, but you would think they would fix that. So yeah. Yeah. Granted, for this review, I played one, it was still, granted, again, I did have some fun with this, but it's basically, again, it's kind of do it if you can find this really, really cheap, and if you want to complete your N64 collection, then by all means pick it up. I think I picked up this one, the NHL, this hockey one, I think for 99 cents, I think, maybe even less than that. Oh, and also to know, for a fun fact about this game, if all you fans or readers of IGN, back in the day when this game came out, IGN gave this game a 0.0. And no, I am not kidding you. This is IGN's lowest rated game, I think, of all time. So yeah, and I got these games because the reason I got both of these games I'm reviewing, I got them cheap, less than $1 each. And granted, I don't mind them, for what they are, for cheap games, they're alright. And even though Olympic Hockey 98 is basically a reskinned Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey, it was fun. I was able, it was not bad. But would I have paid like $60 for this back in the day? No. Not at all. Not at all. So, again, and like this one on the recommendation scale, and this you really want to play Wayne Gretzky's 3D hockey with reskinned with just different teams that aren't even, with the uniforms not even the right uniforms. As I mentioned, they're just the team flags for the uniform. If you don't mind that, then go for it. But honestly, I cannot recommend this game. Only if you're a really die-hard collector and must have every game in the N64 collection, then go for it. But for regular passing Joe or Jane, not recommended. Not at all. And as usual, before we go, as I know what I'm going to say, if you live in or around South St. Paul, Minnesota, or the Twin Cities metro area in particular, please be sure to visit my awesome friends at Level Up Games. The address should be around here or whatever. I think it's usually down there. Well, last episode, I had a fancy blue screen behind me. But anyway, there should be, I believe, down there, I hope. And also, there should be hopefully there's a cool little location picture of their store. It was taken during the early fall, so it's not snow on the ground. But the address is there, and their picture is right next to me. If it isn't, and it should be. And again, that should be there on the bottom, if it isn't already. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, cool! And if you're still seeing it, if you haven't already, please rate and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done so already, if you've already subscribed, awesome! Thank you for being an awesome subscriber and watching this fantastic piece of gaming art or something like that, or gaming review art. And also, if I may say, I have a Twitter feed, a Facebook fan and group page, a fledgling Google Plus page, and I think I won't put it there yet. I am making a Daily Motion page, but that'll be but I don't have anything posted to that yet, but I probably will if I need to. So far, most of that stuff's on YouTube and Facebook, so that's cool. And also, might I add, for Level Up Games, they also have Magic cards, Magic the Gathering cards, comic books, tabletop board games. They also have Magic tournaments as well. Let's see here, and they have that cool figurines and stuff, cool geek. Also, I say geek, but cool figurines from like sci-fi and other stuff you can purchase as well, among other awesome things. So please, again, visit them if you can as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for another episode of Power Up.